Grandpa Dave. I'm going to talk about snow days. You're going to like this, I hope. Stay tuned. Hi, Grandpa Dave here. I'm going to talk a little bit about snow. We're getting close to it. There's some out there. That's why I got this hat on, to keep myself warm. You know, when I was a kid, we tried to find different things to do to entertain ourselves, you know. One of the best things to do is throw snowballs at cars. Oh yeah, I was good at that. We had different ways of doing it. The first one was the school up above us, you know, the elementary school. Now, we found certain ways up on the roof and certain ways off the roof on both sides of the building. That way that when you're throwing snowballs, somebody comes to get you, you got various escape routes. We did that so many times, and no one ever caught us. You know, you're talking a 10-foot jump, but we're kids, you know, our skeletons are made of elastic. You know, we jump off, roll, have a good time. But the one I want to tell you about is the one in the old house. This is way back when we lived into the new house. And my parents had gone, of course, to a place. They'd taken the whole family and went to see my grandma in Wellsville. Well, I didn't want to go for some odd reason. I must have had plans, I can't recall. And they reluctantly left me home. Well, I called up certain friends, and you know, well, we won't tell you who they are. If they're watching, they'll know who they are. And my idea was that we would go down to the shop. Now, we'd had this new addition put across, kind of like some of the old pictures, you know, you'd see the old house and then you see this addition across. And my idea was this: grab a ladder, because we had a ladder down there. We'll go up on the roof, pull the ladder up so no one could come get us, all right? Yeah. So the old addition, you'd walk across, and you'd come over a little ledge, and then there was this roof line like this, and then there was a partition across, so you could hide behind it, and you could huck snowballs all day long. No one could know where the snowballs are going. Then they're going to go, oh, where'd that come from, heaven? The good part of it is the multiple heaters that we had in the shop. The exhaust ports coming up there, when the heaters were on, you could go warm up because you'd be all warm from that nice little exhaust, nice warm exhaust. So we're up there having a good time. We're pelting cars, doing things, just having a grand old time. Just great. Had no idea what time it was. We're just having fun. Then all of a sudden, we heard something. It started out low. Then it got really angry. And I was thinking, that is a very familiar sound. Well, we thought, okay, somebody's down there yelling at us. We'll just wait them out. So we kind of like head back and just sat back and listened to yell. And it got louder, and it got louder, and it got louder. Well, I thought, I'd better check this out. Well, I'm thinking my parents, my dad and them are in Wellsville with the family. So I had no idea who that could have been. So I kind of peek over the edge. No heavens. It's my dad. Not only is it my dad, but it's my brother-in-law. And worse yet, the town marshal. Oh, we are in deep doo-doo. I kind of pulled back. They didn't see me. What do we do? I don't know. What do we do? Maybe we could jump off the edge. It's too high. I know. Do you want to go to jail? I don't know what to do. I don't either. Well, it's your dad. Maybe you could, like, get some kind of amnesty for us because we followed you. Kind of thinking that kind of was going on. So I sitting there thinking, took one more look over there, and they have a real serious look on their face. I mean, really serious. And I'm thinking that this is like a death sentence. I'm going to be destroyed. There is no jail time for this. I no clue what I'd done really bad, other than I went up on the roof and was throwing snowballs. I didn't know that was a death sentence type offense. I really didn't. So anyway, I pulled back, and this serious look really scared me. Finally, I said, all right, fine. So I stood up, and I walked to the edge, and my dad's got this look. And my brother has got a look like his brother-in-law. And the town marshal's got a look like. And I pulled my head up. The town marshal immediately recognized me and went from to this. He starts laughing. My brother-in-law starts laughing. My dad's not laughing. But they're laughing. I says, it's us. Who's us? Me and these guys. What are you doing up there? We're throwing snowballs at cars. Get down. Okay. Marshall's still laughing. My brother-in-law's still laughing. My dad may have some sort of a grin on his face. I'm not sure. So we made our way, put the ladder down, and slowly came down the ladder. And I let them come down first because I wanted to make sure they got down safe. Or I was scared of what was going to happen, so I wanted to be the last one down. I'm not going to tell you which. And they come down, and my dad went over and says, you guys go home. I come down. He says, you're in deep trouble. Oh, heavens help me. I'm in deep trouble again. Go home. We'll talk about this later. So I walked home, my nose in the ground. I got home. My dad had driven back to pick up the family. I guess what had happened is a neighbor had seen these kids climb up on the roof and called the sheriff or the marshal, and the marshal called my dad. My dad made a special trip from Wellsville. And, well, he wasn't happy about that. Well, it turned out he was okay about it, and things worked out. But I think the main thing I want to talk about in the snowball times is something we call checkpoint chickie. Now, if anybody of you has ever watched Andy Griffith, there's this one part where Bonnie Fife sets up a roadblock, which he called checkpoint chickie. Now, this is a name that a friend of mine who is now deceased, he named it checkpoint chickie. So how that came about was this. We had a fresh snowfall, about maybe 8 inches of snow. It was really good packable snow. We had this big yard, and this friend of mine and another friend and myself, we were pushing snowballs, see how big we can get them. We can get this puppy so big, we just barely push them. And then the idea come out is, what if these snowballs here ended up in the street? We could put up a roadblock. Oh yeah, we could make a roadblock. And I think that's a good idea. Now, if you get an idea about my parents' house, they got that road that comes past. I told you the stop sign down the end, but the road goes up a hill, and it's a very steep hill, and there's a bunch of houses up there. And these people up there are totally nuts. They drive fast. So we were pushing and pushing. I got to the point I needed help, so another friend come help. We'd push. Finally took 3 of us to push it out. We're talking something about that high, like a huge snowball. We pushed it out the road. That's good. Let's make another one. So we made another one. Got it out. Made another one. Got it out. So we had like 5 of them across the road. No traffic. So we decided to go across the street. So when my parents' house was here, then across the street was a nursery, and then up the hill from there was their house, the people that lived there. So there's really nothing there, just a field, long way, a field road going across. So we went up and we were hiding in the tall grass and the snow, and we were watching for our next victim. So I was thinking it would be just somebody coming down, and they would stop and get angry and turn around and go back the other way. No, what happened is this truck come down the road. Now this truck come down, and he was coming down lickety-split, and I don't know if he's seen the thing or not, but he hit it hard. And he stopped. He got out and he was screaming and yelling. I don't know what he was saying. I got bad hearing. I even had bad hearing back then, I think. I think he was angry. He kept threatening us to come out from our hiding place. I'm not coming out. Oh, no. No, I'm not coming out. You're going to have to come get me, boy. No, I'm not coming. Well, he eventually drove off. So we were thinking, okay, we'll just lay here low for a little bit. But you know, that whole evening, half a dozen of times, a truck kept coming circling around with one headlight. One headlight. Put the math together, you know what I'm talking about. One headlight. Come around and go real slow. One headlight. We're not stupid kids. We made the tracks all over the place. So if you're going to follow the snow, it's going to go anywhere. We were all over the place on there. So if you're going to follow the tracks, one thing I didn't think about was the possibility that they could see where the snowballs were made in our yard. Nothing ever come of that. But that was kind of the cool one. We decided to do Checkpoint Chickie 2 about 3 weeks later. Now Checkpoint Chickie 2 was down by the school, down by the elementary school. Now that didn't do so well. We were only able to get about 3 snowballs out in the road when the snowplow came and hit it. Now that guy wasn't very well mannered and didn't have a sense of humor. He gave us the what for and said, "Don't do that again," whatever. Well, anyway, that was the end of the Checkpoint Chickie stuff. But snowballs never ceased. We always knew. I mean, we'd pepper anybody we could find. And that was the good times. Now, back in those days in Providence, the city had a ice skating rink. This ice skating rink was down below, down to the west of town. And they had this little house down there. And this little house, they had a little heater there. And it was all nice and warm in there. Well, I was just learning to skate. My big sister let me borrow her skates. And I went down there, and I was having a good time falling down, trying to get up. But, you know, the heck of it is the kids were making fun of me because my sister's skates were white. And I was wearing girl skates. You know, it's just like I said before, training wheels on a bike, dinosaur underwear. That's a good way to get yourself beat up in my day. Well, I complained to them, my parents, about that. And Santa Claus had brought me a new pair of skates, and black skates. They're beautiful, nice skates. So we used to walk down there all the time, and skates over our shoulder, laces tied to it. We'd go down there and we'd skate, and we'd have such a good time. We'd just skate and skate. Well, the thing about that down there was that the dressing room and the heated little room there, and the little heater in the middle, it's always interesting to see what burnt inside of it. It had this little grating on the top. And I was kind of curious about what a rubber band would smell like. And unfortunately, a rubber band accidentally fell into it while I was trying to do my experiment, and it caused a horrible stench. And, you know, for a good part of that year, that thing smelled like burnt rubber. Now, these stories go back in time, and that thing no longer exists, but if anybody's wondering who threw that rubber band in, it was someone else. It may not have been me. But I'm not going to admit anything to that point. But, you know, that's kind of the snow days. Other than multiple sleigh rides, there's all kinds of places to go sleighing. Good times, good days. Talk to you later. Grandpa Dayz with a little bit of wisdom. You know, every morning I get up and I go into the bathroom, do my duty. I look in the mirror and there's this old guy looking back at me. We had an argument the other day. And you know what he said to me? He says, "Young buck, why take things so seriously? You know we're not getting out of this alive, right?" Really? I plan to live forever. How about you? Talk to you later.